if we look at it like that, we look at it like, okay, we're all going in that trajectory and we want to better our world. What does that mean? We're going to go back to the socialist conversation real quick. It means everything's equal.
The point you make about if you were wrong and it turned out, insert your religious beliefs, whatever they are here, that's not exactly what it is when it's all said and done. If you use the good of what that's supposed to show in your life to put that forward, and let's be honest, there's also a beautiful, like even selfish aspect to that, which is that when you're doing good and helping people out, you feel great about it. Mm-hmm. If that's how you lived your life and you lived long and you're remembered as someone who left this world better than the way you found it, then who the hell cares what it is afterwards? That's not up to you. You mm-hmm. know what I mean? And that's also, that veers towards kind of how I think about things. It's like, I don't know if this is right or that's right or that's right, or they're all wrong or they're all a little bit right. I don't know, but your guess is as good as mine. But I do know, while there is plenty of gray area in the world, some that makes us more uncomfortable than others, there is an overall objective good and an overall objective not good, if mm-hmm. that's what you want to call it. And like, I want to lean on the good side of things. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what's clocking me here.
Yeah.
But no, that's interesting.
Golden rule, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I love this. I'm going to give you another first.
Okay.
I was waiting for Joe to take this one, but I'm going to give it here. So look at
Joe
Rogan. Okay. See Jesus on the pendulum. So Jesus is on a pendulum. Like, everything's on a pendulum, right? Our politic, everything swings on a pendulum. So I see on this left side of the pendulum my mom, conservative Christian woman, like believes every letter of the Bible is the literal word of God, even through translations and all that. And it's really hard for me to rationalize that. And then I can swing all the way to the other side of the pendulum of Jesus. And who is Jesus? He's a figure in history who had massive implications on society and the world. He was murdered, and that's it. Mm. The resurrection is faked. Pentecost is just folklore. The apostles who died and all those early bishops who died for a lie or died for a made up story, but whatever. But his life and his teachings pulled us from barbarism all the way to this day where you and I see each other as equal value and equal life, right? Mm. So I see Jesus on those pendulums. Wherever you fall in your quote unquote faith or idea of Christ is going to meet you there. Mm. Like, even if you just think he's a historical figure who taught great lessons, and man, I want to be the good in the world, like you said. Like, you're over here, my mom's over here. You're on the same pendulum, actually. And Jesus will meet you there if you look at him and actually just read his teachings. Mm. And that's what I always encourage people to do, is like, just study his life like a history book. And the stuff you will glean out of that, you'll have, wherever you end up on that spectrum, like, that's where Christ will meet you and you will be the good in the world. Mm. But right now it's like, if we look at it like that, we look at it like, okay, we're all going in that trajectory and we want to better our world. What does that mean? We're going to go back to the socialist conversation real quick. It means everything's equal. Mm. Well, if everything's equal, then how do I build my institution on top of this? You can't. Mm. Okay, so I have to differentiate myself from you, Julian. I have to differentiate myself from Chris. So what does that mean? Well, now I have to find differences.
I'm a brand.
You're a brand. Mm-hmm. You're one of 50,000 denominations of Christianity now. It started with one. And it's because we have to be different. When in reality, Christ is saying, we're all one and the same.
Hmm. That's heavy, man.
Yeah.
Mm. Now, you had said something earlier, because I do want to get back to Copeland and the full investigation you did, but I've had something in the back of my mind that we got off very early on that was interesting. You were making a draw between, I want to say it was in the 60s, where they were coming up with the code mm-hmm. of how to declare yourself a church or religion. And you just kind of tossed in there on the side that, the CIA was invented in the 40s. Why did you say that? What was the tie between those two?
I got a call maybe, can't remember now.
Several
months ago from an unknown block number. And I don't know why I answered this one. But I did. Maybe I was in a good mood. I don't know. And I answered this call. And it was a gentleman who goes, hey, I've watched a lot of what you're doing. What do you know about the 14-point checklist? And so I gave him kind of my history spiel because I had sat down with the gentleman that oversaw the nonprofit sector for 5 years at the IRS. So basically like the leading brain at the IRS to oversee 1.5, well, not 1.5 because that's global, almost $1 trillion in individual donor giving every year. So that's not including government grants. So this guy is like the brain that understands it all. So I regurgitated to this gentleman on the other line, hey, this is where it started. This is how it has come about. And he goes, okay, why would the US government want to build that box? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And he goes, is Christianity dangerous? And I said, yeah, true Christianity is super dangerous. And people ask why. And I go, well, these few thousand people without weapons transformed Rome. Islam is dangerous. True Islam is dangerous. The Ayatollah, look what it's done to the Middle East. True religion, whatever you believe, is dangerous. Okay, well, if religion is dangerous, governments can't control it. So the government needs something to control organized religion. So they built the box with 14 points that you just need to check off. To get someone to climb into the box, we're going to give you tax exemption, so you save some money. That box holds everything. Islam and Christianity is like oil and water. It does not mix. So we need everything in a box that plays by the same rules. Now we can put that box on the shelf, and any politician or any president or any political party that's in power can pull that box off and move it where they need it to go. And if you step outside of that 14 points, you lose your tax exempt status.
What do you mean move it where they need it to go?
This is where we call it the death rattle in the show. It's happened in history before, but when religion and politics combine, usually it's either the political power is losing authority or the majority religious power is losing authority. And so right now, Christianity is trying to shove its moral compass and its moral authority down through the political structure. Mm-hmm. You can see it in DC right now.
100%. And
it's because they've abdicated their moral authority from the pulpit. The church is no longer looking like the church. The pastor doesn't look like a shepherd. They look like a celebrity. They have lost their moral authority and their moral high ground. So they're trying to do it from DC. And this happens all throughout history and everywhere. And so right now, you've got the death rattle going in DC. But if and basically what that means is reform is coming. It doesn't mean necessarily anything's dying physically. It just means reform to a system, whether that be political or religious, is coming. And so reform is coming. You can hear the death rattle clanking around. And so if I am right or left, I don't care. I want to be able to use that where I need to use it. Mm. If true Christian, or I want to be able to place it where I need to place it, if that makes sense. And yeah, we're going down a fascinating rabbit hole here, which, well, I can't speak to it, but I'm saying, as Islam grows in the US, like I said, it's oil and water. So
yeah, why do you say that it's oil and water? Because they do believe like Jesus was a prophet.
They do believe Jesus was a prophet. Yeah. I actually have great conversations with Muslims. One of my favorite restaurants in Utah is owned by this great Muslim guy named Mohammed. And
Shout out Mo.
Shout out Mo, bro. Best ribeye in the business.
Wait, are they allowed to make that?
Halal.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm wrong religion. Sorry. I love halal food.
No, he does sell bacon. Can they have bacon? I
don't think so.
You're looking at me like I know.
I'm not an expert. I don't think so.
Okay.
Capitalistic Muslim right there.
Just trying to make a buck.
Mo, you're the man. But what I mean by that is like theologically it's oil and water. Mm. And how can I say this? Christians are meant to love their enemies. Christianity doesn't. We have to be different, is what I'm saying.
Okay, that's interesting. So Christianity, the institution, doesn't,
correct.
But individual Christians, if they followed the Bible, are supposed to.
Correct. That's why I call myself a Christ follower. And I know it's kind of silly, But it's like the term Christian has so much stigma attached to it that I'm like, I'm a Christ follower.
Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.